Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Attorney Trials and Tribulations. In the last episode, we finished off the first investigation of Bridge to the Turnabout, and we found out that the blackmail letter that Iris got was actually from Larry, I guess, which is really freaking stupid. I thought we were onto a lead there, and then it just turns out to be Larry being dumb. But yeah, now we're just gonna go into the trial and see what the heck's going on. Godot's not gonna be the prosecutor this time, so I'm curious who the prosecutor's gonna be, and I assume that Edgeworth called the judge's brother to be the judge for this one. So yeah, let's get going. February 9th, 9:47 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. Oh my, Mr. Larice feels that way about me? Apparently, he isn't aware of your real secret at all. This is no time to be embarrassed. I'm sorry. I'm just hardly accustomed to that sort of thing. Worry not, and in any case, whatever it was that he saw on the night of the incident, mark my words, I will drag it out of him. Does that mean Mr. Larice is the witness today? No. I believe that none will be the first to take the stand. Sister Bikini. She claims to have seen the very instant in which you carried out the crime. I just want to ask you one last time. It really wasn't you who killed Miss Elise Denim, correct? That is correct. It wasn't me. Very well then. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? You are a prosecutor, aren't you? Are you sure about this? If your true identity is revealed... Don't worry. I've taken the necessary steps. You have? Iris. It is a prosecutor's job to doubt people. But right now, I am a defense attorney. A defense attorney's job is to believe in people, and to believe until the bitter end. That's what a friend of mine told me once. Mr. Edgeworth. You may pass judgment on me from the defendant's chair. You are the one to decide whether or not I am able to do the task I have been entrusted. Very well, sir. I leave my defense in your capable hands. February 9th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 7. Court is now in session for the trial of Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is not here, Your Honor. The defense does indeed appear to be ready. However, the same cannot be said for the prosecution in this case. Indeed. I'm not sure I like such a blatant waste of this court's time. An empty prosecutor's chair can only mean that the prosecutor has no confidence in their ability to prove their case. It would seem this case is already over before it had a chance to begin. I am ready to announce my verdict at this time. This court finds the defendant... Ha 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 ha! No! No! Of course she went along with this one. The prosecution stands ready. And you are... Francisco von Karma, prosecuting prodigy. Von Karma, you say? Perchance you wouldn't be of any relation to the legendary prosecutor Manfred von Karma. Legends are a thing of the past. I am a von Karma, that is all. Upon a special request, I flew in today for the purposes of prosecuting this case. You did? Then you must be quite a big shot, eh? By the way, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? I'm almost certain that I've seen you somewhere before. Or am I just imagining things? You look very much like a prosecutor I met once. I believe you are imagining things, Your Honor. I am totally a defense attorney and not just taking the place of my friend. There is no such weakling as this man among those of the prosecutors. Damn, okay. There isn't? But I'm sure, once before, in this courtroom... I told you, there is no such weakling. What is that? A whip? I'm not sure I care for such a thing in my courtroom. The bailiff, remove that whip at... I have no objection to the whip. You don't? The prosecution can wield the whip or drink 17 cups of coffee, but there is still only one truth. That is what I stand here to prove today. This promises to be interesting, Miles Edgeworth. I had expected to face Phoenix Wright here today, but looking at you now... Maybe this is what I have been waiting for all this time. Miles Edgeworth, I will not allow this chance to crush you to slip through my fingers. I see you brought your flair for the histrionic. Allow me to add to the things I'm not sure about. People acting bizarrely in my court. The stage is set. Now continue with the proceedings, Your Honor. Very well, Miss Von Karma. Please give an outline of the case. With as little whipping as possible. The murder victim is the famed picture book author Miss Elise Denim. Her body was found in the Hasakura Temple courtyard. She had been stabbed through the torso by a ceremonial sword from a golden statue. The sword in this picture is the weapon in question, correct? Very well. The court accepts this photo of the crime scene. There is no mistake. This was the doing of Sister Iris. After all, there is a witness to her crime. Very well. Please bring this witness to the stand. And so it begins. My first and last trial as a defense attorney. She's too short. Witness, state your name and occupation, please. Hold on here. I'm not sure about being sure if I care for this at all. Witness, please stand up nice and straight. No, I'm too short. If I recall correctly, there are a few milk crates in the defendant's lobby for witnesses with bad backs. Bailiff, fetch a crate for this poor lady, please. Once again, your name and occupation, please. Little old me? Well, I'm the head nun of Hasakura Temple on Eagle Mountain. My name is Bikini. You got it? Bikini. Nice to meet everyone. But you don't appear to be wearing a bikini right now. The courtroom is the garden of holy judgment. Those with lechery in their hearts should leave this sanctuary at once. You want me to leave? No need to get your bikinis in a twist. Let me tell you, I'm a sight to behold in the summer. In any case, witness, I hear that you saw the crimes take place on the night in question. That's right. I can still hardly believe it myself, to be honest. There's no way dear little Iris could do anything like that. Let us hear what you have to say, then. First, tell us about your own movements that night, eh? Why are they trying to push the fact that this guy's Canadian? That night, I was helping an acolyte with her training in the inner temple, but, well, as you can see, my back likes to act up. Violently. So I left Iris to help the acolyte and returned to Hasakura Temple. There's no bath at the inner temple, you see, and I needed a long, hot soak. It was after I had finished, just as I was heading back, that's when I saw it! So it was simply coincidence that you found yourself returning to Hasakura Temple? Yes, you could say that. If my back hadn't been in so much pain, I would have stayed at the inner temple. That sounds like a pretty important statement she just made. There's only one problem with this testimony that I can see. And you're not about to fall at the first hurdle, now are you, Miles Edgeworth? Mr. Edgeworth, please begin your cross-examination. Boom. Witnesses have to undergo their own trials, I'm afraid. The defendant's fate rests on the powers of memory and observation, after all. Well, don't worry. I'm more than up to the task. I'm a woman of faith, after all, the head honcho of Hasakura Temple. In that case, Miss Honcho, I'd like you to explain something for me. The discrepancy between your testimony and that of the defendant, Iris. She claims that after ringing the lights-out bells, she went back and stayed in her room. Which means she did not go to the inner temple at all. No! She said that? A defendant or a witness. Who is more likely to lie, do you suppose? The defendant is simply lying to cover her back. But that is completely illogical. The murder was committed in the courtyard of Hasakura Temple. Claiming that she went to the inner temple would make for a much better alibi. But that is odd. Whatever the reason, I can't believe that she would lie. She does indeed She does indeed have honest eyes. Ooh-ah! All people lie. That is my belief. Why am I the only one being whipped in here? Anyway, neither the witness nor the defendant have any reason to lie, which means we must call your memory into question. Dear, 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 you are older than me and yet you want to play that game, do you? Well, that isn't exactly what My memory is perfect, crystal clear, especially in winter. Then, I suppose it's too early to end this cross-examination, eh? Mr. Edgeworth, if you are going to question the memory of this witness, you will need to show a more decisive piece of evidence.
Understood, Your Honor. I was naive to think that alone would do the trick.
Then please add your comments about Iris to the testimony. And let us return to the cross-examination. They're really trying to push the fact that he's Canadian. That night I was helping an acolyte. Iris came to the inner temple. She was dressed exactly as she had been at dinner. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Wait.
Okay. Witness, let's get one thing straight. The defendant whom you claim to have met, she was wearing this demon warning hood, correct?
Of course! That is a very important piece of clothing, I'll have you know. Wait a minute. Hold it right there. Why do you have that?
That's the question of the day now, isn't it, Miss Von Karma? I'll have you know that this hood was given to someone as a gift that night, before the lights out bell was rung.
What?
You know where I'm going with this, don't you? If the witness had seen the defendant as she claims, the defendant couldn't have been wearing this very hood.
Well, well, well!
My God, she's so short. It's not a bad feeling at all, exposing contradictions like this. Now I understand that happy look on Wright's face every time he does it.
Order! Order in the court! Witness your response! Ah!
Sister, this hood. You have spare ones around the temple, don't you?
Spares? Well, I do tend to make too many of them. I see! A stockpile. A surplus of hoods, eh? Each nun is only given one hood. This should be the only hood that Iris owned. Then this is quite strange. Ah! If there was a surplus of hoods, then she could have worn one of those. There is no contradiction here.
I'm sorry to break this to you, Miss Von Karma, but you won't get away that easily. Discrepancies such as this will sow seeds in any human heart. The seeds of doubt.
Witness, while I don't wish to call your testimony into doubt, you must give every detail with precision. I'm not sure I'm comfortable going along with this.
Sister, you shall continue with your testimony. Tell us what you saw after finishing your bath on the way back to the inner temple. Those seeds of doubt are sprouting in the judge's heart. They just need a little more stimulation to bear fruit. Contradictory stimulation.
I finished my bath around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look and Iris was, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out into the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window. You saw a truly terrible sight, didn't you? If I was in your place, then it would be much like Miss Von Karma whipping Mr. Edgeworth into in court, and me seeing it all from this very chair. Well, something like that.
This judge. His imagination is about as vivid and creative as Detective Gumshoe. I would look the fool if I commented on such foolishness. Anyway, this case is mine, Miles Edgeworth. Calling everyone by their full name. Can't you do something about that habit of yours?
Okay, I finished my bath at around 11 and I thought I should return to the inner temple. As I was walking back, I heard a noise from the courtyard. I took a look, and Iris was, Mystic Elise, and with that sword of all things. Mystic Elise was staying in the corner room, which faces out onto the courtyard. The stabbing I saw must have occurred after she was pushed out of her window.
Doesn't it feel like she is lying? This is very powerful testimony, too. She claims to have seen the incident in which the defendant stabbed the victim. There are only two things I can believe in right now. My client, Iris, and my own abilities as a defense attorney. You say you heard a noise?
Thump, just like that.
That could only be the sound of the victim falling.
It's very quiet in the temple, you know. You can even hear the snow falling from the branches. Thump, just like that. But then, couldn't this noise you heard have just been snow falling to the ground? I never thought of that.
The next one to laugh gets a whipping.
Well, whatever the source of the sound, I looked over at the courtyard and...
This is the second time that the witness has testified to seeing the defendant, but some doubt remains in these claims.
Hey, just what does that mean? Just because you're a good-looking young man doesn't give you the right to...
The murderer who stabbed the victim with a sword, Sister Bikini, try to recall exactly who it was you saw, as clearly as you can.
Well, you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you. Oh, now that you mention it, there was something awfully strange about her. Something that has been bugging me all this time.
Please, don't keep us in suspense.
Her hood!
Her hood?
That's right! It's coming back to me. Iris, she wasn't wearing her hood. I thought something was out of place, but it all makes sense now, doesn't it? After all, she'd given that hood away to someone, right?
Ha! You've dug your own grave, Miles Edgeworth.
What do you say, Mr. Edgeworth? Is this testimony important?
It's too important. Fuck. This may initially appear to be put me at a disadvantage, but I can't see any other leads at the moment. Your Honor, I would like these new statements to be added to the testimony.
Miles Edgeworth, if you want to hang yourself, you need only ask. I'll gladly lend you my whip. Witness, add that statement to your testimony. No problem.
Now that you mention it, Iris didn't have her hood on. Okay, there's no contradiction there. You are sure about that?
Yes, after all, we always wear the same clothes. I don't mean because we're poor, you understand? It's our style. Yes, that's it.
There's absolutely no need to explain yourself.
Anyway, she looked different from normal, so that really stuck out.
Like me holding a whippet puppy instead of my whip? At least then it might bite you and not someone else.
Iris didn't have her hood on, I'm sure of it. Very well. Now, please tell us about the victim, eh? Really, y'all?
Is there anything else? Okay. God damn it. Wait, I don't know. Shoot. The room the victim was staying in overlooked the courtyard, correct?
Which means the victim's room was on the second floor? No. Asakura Temple is a single-story building, but the mountain itself slopes downward, which elevates the main gate side of the temple and the guest rooms in the back to about the height of a two-story building. I see. And the victim was staying in one of these elevated rooms, correct?
Yes, I should know. I'm the one who carried her things to her room, after all. Impressive logic. That's what I'd like to say anyway.
Oh, please do! My brain is something else, especially in winter.
However, I think you are overlooking one thing. Miss Von Karma, would you be so kind as to take another look at the autopsy report?
The autopsy report?
The victim did fall from a height of 10 feet. However, this fall was after she was killed.
That's right. It says after death right here.
The scene the witness claims to have seen is contradictory. If the defendant stabbed and killed the victim there in the courtyard, how did the victim then go on to take a 10-foot fall?
Ah! Order! Order! The victim was killed and then fell. If that is the case, then the victim must have been killed in her room. Don't you agree?
That is the logical conclusion. Yes, that's right. The victim must have been stabbed by the defendant in her own room, and then she was thrown out of the window down to the courtyard below. Were there any signs of a struggle in Miss DeSmuMe's room? She was stabbed with a sword. That would leave a blood stain, wouldn't you agree?
Well, Miss Von Karma, was there any blood? Ah!
No traces of blood were found in the victim's room.
Your whip has just caused traces of blood to be found on my glorious playoff beard. However, if there was no blood in her room... Ah!
I'm sure there's no need for me to go over this, as I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of when a stab wound produces the most blood.
When it produces the most blood?
Very little blood is actually lost at the moment of a blade's insertion. If you want to talk about when the most blood would be lost from a body, that would be when the blade is removed. Indeed, with the weapon still in place, it acts like a lid on the wound.
That's true. With the weapon still in the body, there wouldn't be much bleeding. A perfectly reasonable line of thinking.
We have come to a conclusion then. The victim was thrown out of the window with the sword still in place. This removes all of the contradictions.
Then how was Iris over there? Order! 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 I must admit that this is a probable version of events.
I'd expect no less from Franziska von Karma. She locates and takes control of every vital point.
It seems that we need a clearer testimony from the witness. Remove all supposition on your part and tell us only the truth, please. Witness, please, remain standing on the grate. Don't go selling me short now. The weight of winter snow has bent me all out of shape, especially my back and my mood.
Sister, please give us your testimony. I will give you a vigorous massage once we are finished here. With the whip?
Oh, boy. All right, all right. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Miss Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Miss Tagami was stabbing Miss Elise through the back. This all confirms Miss Von Karma's theory.
Von Karma strive for nothing but perfection. Putting together such facts is nothing for me. You should know that, Miles Edgeworth. Perfection is an impossibility, Franziska von Karma, and I'm here to teach you just that. When I looked across at the scene, the sword was already in place. Okay? Thinking about it now, I didn't actually see her stab Miss Elise. I've never seen so much blood before. That's when I fainted. You can't blame me, can you? And when I awoke, Miss Tagami was stabbing Miss Elise through the back. At that time, was the victim bleeding?
Well, I was very shocked to be seeing all this, of course. So I'm not entirely sure. But I don't think I saw any blood. Not then.
I'm sure that you didn't. The weapon was acting as a plug in the wound. In any case, let's be clear on one very important point. Did you actually see the instant in which the victim was stabbed? Think carefully. This is very important.
It's Iris we're talking about here. I'm thinking for all it's worth. No, when I looked over, the sword was already in Miss Elise's body.
It might not be conclusive, but this testimony supports her theory. The victim was stabbed in her room and then dropped into the courtyard. I think this proves it rather well, Miles Edgeworth. So you're saying that you saw the victim's blood?
That's right! Some of it had splattered onto Iris, too!
When the defendant was arrested, she was meditating in her room, and her blood-flecked clothing was neatly folded in the corner.
What?
Her clothes were blood-flecked as well?
That seems quite conclusive to me.
What should I do? Press this point further? Going back to your previous statement, you said that you saw little bleeding when the victim was stabbed, but now you say you saw the victim bleeding?
Well, I say that what I saw is what I saw. What did you see? Maybe I didn't see the poor woman get stabbed, but I saw the girl pull the sword out of her, plain as day.
Pulling the sword out?
Well, it wasn't exactly pulling. It was more like it came out. Witness, you will add this statement to your testimony. Oh, was that important?
More important than you can imagine. I saw the instant in which the blade plunged into the hilt was smoothly drawn out. Smoothly drawn out? Why was I expecting to see like a... What? Hold on, wait. What? What the fuck? How does it smoothly drawn out? Okay. Sister Bikini, you are a reliable witness. At least I'd like to think so. But there are too many contradictions here.
What do you mean? You make it sound as though I'm a liar. But you're a handsome young man, so I'll forgive you.
What contradictions are you talking about? In the scene that the witness claims to have seen, the weapon was thrust up to its hilt to the victim. Furthermore, the killer withdrew the weapon smoothly from the body. However, both of these are complete impossibilities.
What do you mean? Please explain Explain yourself.
To start with, do you think it would be possible to stab someone to the hilt with this? No matter how I look at the defendant, she doesn't appear strong enough for that.
Doesn't appear? What meaningless dribble. I too may appear to be weak and frail, but I can crush men under my heel and make them weep should I choose. The objection stands. I wept a little back there, I must admit.
That isn't the only issue here. If this sword was truly stabbed into the body up to the hilt, well, just look at all the branches on it. It certainly wouldn't come out smoothly. We also have the problem of the amount of bleeding. It's true that when a blade is left in a body, it acts as a plug of sorts. However, when the weapon is shaped like this, it's an entirely different story. The wound would be too large for the blade to completely stop from bleeding.
That's nothing more than conjecture. In reality, the victim was stabbed with a shishishito. Even a weapon of this nature may still sometimes slide out smoothly and may still sometimes stop the blood loss.
I'm not finished. There is still one more conclusive contradiction.
You've still got more?
This one is simple. If this sword really was thrust in all the way to the hilt, why is there only blood on the tip of it?
How are you so stupid as not to realize that?
Then there should be blood along the entire length of the sword.
No! Order! Wah!
Bravo, Miles Edgeworth. Raising this many contradictions from a single piece of evidence. All the other attorneys I know could maybe manage one, if that.
But what does this all mean? You have proven contradictions regarding the murder weapon, but...
Having come this far, there can only be one answer. And that is... the weapon used to kill the victim was not the Shichishito.
What?
A foolishly foolish idea born from the foolish mind of a foolhardy foolish fool. Let's examine this again. What was it that made us think that this sword was the murder weapon?
Well, it's because Mystigami was holding it.
Exactly. However, if you reflect on this, that is the only basis we have to assume such a thing. The impression left by the scene was just too strong. That is what influenced us. It influenced us to believe that the Shishishito was the murder weapon.
Order! Wah! So maybe the Shichishita was not the murder weapon. Even if that is the case, it changes nothing, Miles Edgeworth. The sister here saw everything. She saw the defendant stab the victim with a sword-like object. That's true. Your response, Mr. Edgeworth?
If that is so, I would like the prosecution to answer the obvious question it raises.
The obvious question?
Yes, namely, where did the real murder weapon disappear to? It goes without saying that the police searched the main hall and the surrounding area. Perhaps the prosecution can enlighten us as to if a sword-like object was found.
That's... Answer the question, Miss Von Karma.
No evidence of that kind was found.
Another mystery to throw into the pile. A trial without a murder weapon is a tricky beast.
Excuse me, could I say something? I just remembered something, actually.
What is it, sister?
I was just thinking. It's possible that just maybe what actually happened was it was just over there.
What exactly are you going on about here?
The murder weapon, I mean, maybe... I think I might know where the sword was disposed of.
You what?
Well then, I think we need to hear testimony from you one more time, sister.
Impossible! What else? What else could this old woman have seen?
Alright, I think this is where we're gonna stop for today. Roll the end card.
Objection! You haven't hit like and subscribe yet! Hold it! You forgot to ring the bell to get notified whenever I upload! Take that! Click here to watch more of my videos! Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye!